So from the login page, what I'm doing is a login. I'm calling for the login servlet, and that's actually there in the login servlet. See here, the path is here. Okay, so when I post it to the login servlet, and then the login servlet, what I'm doing is I'm talking to the database and checking whether this guy is valid or not, username and password. And if it is valid, if it is true, the result, I'm capturing the result, and then I'm forwarding to something called slash home. Home is nothing but home is defined as servlet. Home is another servlet, and that is right here, home servlet. So I'm forwarding the request to home servlet, and in the home servlet I'm not doing much. What I'm doing is I'm just forwarding this. I'm actually forwarding this again to home.jsp. Yesterday I just forwarded to home.jsp from straight from the login servlet, but because of the other doubt that Jimmy asked, and while trying to answer that, I'm actually like introduced one extra step. Okay, so and I think I don't need this statement. Maybe I just copied it from there, but I don't need this statement. I'm just forwarding, but we will try to see if we can reuse this particular flow sometime later. Now there are few more things. There are few more things related to this request and response. Now you know what really a request is, what really a response is, and there are few more things. Something is called how we manage the status or state. Managing the state. Let me delete this code that I don't really require. Okay, and maybe let it be there. Okay, so what I will have is, I also discussed about request.set attribute, that apart from the regular parameters, I can set request.set attribute. Means I can set some attribute that as I prefer. This is not user input, rather my input, that in the login servlet I can put something, and when I forward this request to another servlet or JSP, there I can get this value column by using request.get attribute. I can do that in the request.get attribute. Let me see if I did use this already. No, yeah, I am using here. See here in the home.jsp, and I'm using this. So other thing that we need to look at now is that there is something called cookies. Request.get cookies. Cookies is nothing but or response dot add cookie, new cookie name, application name, say office web. So a cookie is nothing but a key value kind of stuff, and what we do with this is, maybe what I'll do is, I'm just explicitly creating that object instead of inline declaration. Set max.js. See here, if I first let me explain the cookie, and then we will look at the other parts. And maybe I'll create one more. I can add any number of cookies in the request, so sorry, to the response, and that goes and sits in the browser. Browser will, when I run my application, and I know that there is a bug now, so I need to close this. I need to close this, and I need to run again. Actually, okay, let me do this from the regular browser. Now first, okay, okay. Now in the tools, options, maybe in the privacy, or you may want to see. Let me look at this. The cookies, localhost. See, the localhost, the cookies. What the cookies? It shows that, See here. Can you see this? I added a couple of keys, cookies, and they came, and they will be sitting here, and says that the path, application path, and the first name is application name I gave, and the content is office web, and similarly username, and the content is Hari. So when I use this cookies is primarily used, the topic that I really wanted to talk is about how we manage session. How we manage session is nothing but, when you log in and you want to do something. Say suppose if you are using your gmail, and you logged into the gmail, and maybe you closed, you opened another tab, you close the old tab, okay, and then you don't need to log in multiple times. Once you log in, you can open another tab, and then you type gmail.com, it directly shows you the inbox. That's primarily because they're remembering that you logged in your information. Okay, that's called session management, session tracking. Okay, so such as the protocol HTTP, the HTTP protocol is stateless. Such as the HTTP protocol is stateless, meaning HTTP, such as, that we looked at the HTTP headers, how it looks like, you know, um, the headers will be, they look like this. So and here you don't, between two requests there is no specific link. There is no specific link. If meaning that, I can, each request is independent. There is no relationship between any two requests. I click on something, a page is displayed, but there is no relationship between, how the next page is displayed before to what was I browsing sometime before. So every request is independent, and there is no way that HTTP protocol such as remembers, or like it will track the session. Okay, so we call HTTP as a stateless protocol. Stateless protocol. This is related to, if I call someone, on my phone, then see, a dedicated line is established between me and the other side, other guy, right? So that's actually called, stateful communication. That is stateful communication. Now you compare that with email. Email, what happens, or even the HTTP, why it is stateless? Because every request goes in a different path. In internet, This is a common thing, but let me try to see if I can explain. So what could happen is that, not this, but say suppose if this is my computer, and if my destination is somewhere here, and in the internet I might be having lot of network and different multiple paths. So it might be that first request may go like this, and in this route to the destination, and my when I'm talking to maybe in the Facebook, my first chat message went in this route, but second one maybe going in this route. That's primarily, you cannot guarantee that how the communication is happening. And in case of a phone line, it is not so. The moment if there is some problem with the line, and then your call gets disconnected, right? So that's the thing. So I'm just trying to explain that stateful, stateless. Let me exit from here. And no. So, but how we can actually achieve session management? If I log in, for every request I cannot log in, right? So that's actually like how we do is we explicitly do in different approaches. One is cookies. Cookies meaning when I store the data to the when I add the data. See, when I add the data, the cookies, then they go and sit in the browser. They go and sit in the browser, and next time when the request happens again, and see, this guy has encrypted the stuff. No, this is not the, sorry, this is not our request. Our request is here. See here, when browser is actually sending the next time request, it will actually include by default all the cookies related to that particular website by default. And I only added two of them, application name and username. But then the third one, JSession ID. JSession ID is generated by the Java application, the Tomcat, and that explicitly includes this JSession ID. So if you look at, that if there is some session ID called JSession ID, if there is a cookie called JSession ID, maybe that is a Java application. Okay. So, and now if I'm working on some other page, okay, I can pretty much check whether this guy, I can say suppose I can pretty much check here request dot get cookies and dot get. Okay, so I got the cookies now. That's an array. So I wish it was a map. So now I can pretty much for each, okay, I can check if let me take this little before and say writer dot append and cookie value get value. Okay, so there are other properties as well, but I think that key value pair, that logic is sufficient for us, and the age when it will be expiring. So session time, just by default it is 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes these cookies might be expiring, or you can even specify that, in some of the applications we say that, remember my password forever, something like that, right? And in that case, what really happens is that these guys will set that, some flag to the cookies in the browser, some flag to the cookies. So what really happens is that next time when they try to visit the same website, first the website will check whether this guy has any cookie set for remembering password. If that case, then they will directly show the website content. They will not ask for password again, username and password again. So now let me see if the problem is that now we need to run everything again because the application is loaded. I'm just closing that, too many browsers open in my Eclipse. Okay, JDBC connection manager I don't require. Let's let it be. Rajat, you are able to follow me, right? If you have any feedback that, and how you want it, you can pretty much let me know. So, because I'm learning how to train you. I mean, I've been learning, but then, every student is different, and the kind of methodology that one need to apply might be required to change. And my cookies did not come here. And home servlet did not care to put my cookies. Oops. Why? Because I must be doing this in the home.jsp. I must be doing this in the home.jsp. And say suppose h2 our keys. So in the JSP, how I can write is there is something called out. I'll explain that, and slowly we are moving towards JSPs. Okay, so that's interesting. And yeah, I need to close this. So let me revisit. See here, I got all the application names in the cookies. So where is my home? What I must be doing here is put a new line so that everything appears in a separate line, plus /n. Okay, and let me refresh. Oops. And I don't need this line, but that's okay. Home.jsp. Why is that I did not get this here? I mentioned /n, sorry. Okay, let me see if I get this. Yeah. See here, the cookie name and cookie value, I can pretty much see the cookie values. And you can access, you can keep this in any JSP and still, the cookies will be remaining there. You can pretty much write, another JSP and then trying to access. I can show that. What I can do is, let me refresh this. Show cookies. Okay, show cookies.jsp. I renamed it to show cookies.jsp, and I'll remove this code because this is a different stuff altogether. So this is a brand new JSP file I'm writing. This is a brand new JSP file I'm writing, and I'm just leaving some space. So what I can do is show cookies.jsp. See here, was there any relationship between this request and the original request? No, right? And let me see if what will happen if I take this out and put this in a Firefox. Have checked this. I hope you guys are following me. Hope you guys are following me. You have, Jimmy. Okay, only Charles is missing. Jimmy, Neelima, Manasmita. Can you respond? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Excellent. Neelima. So, Manasmita.
Yes, Anna.
Okay, okay. One moment. Excellent. So, this is about cookies. How we manage the sessions is one way you can do is using cookies. And now I'm going to introduce to another way. Another mechanism is to use session. Session means, cookies are generally like they are browser based, meaning you store the data in the browser. And what I can do is clear recent history, not this, but what I can do is you can explicitly remember this. You can explicitly, sorry, in the tools, options, and I can pretty much clear the cookies. And if you want, that, some sites actually they remember, I maybe you don't know what kind of sites these things are. You keep browsing and they keep setting the lot of cookies in your computer. See here, now I can remove this cookie. For localhost, I am removing the cookies explicitly from the browser options. Now, let me redo this. Let me refresh this page and see what happens. And says there are no cookies and it shows me a null pointer. I need to handle this in a better way. How I can handle? I mean, because there are no cookies set now. I guess in the JSP page, show cookies.jsp, I can say something like uh, 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 if cookies not equal to null, then only do this for loop. Let me do this. Yeah, your cookies. So we need, I just added null check there because always for objects it is possible that it can be null, and so you always need to make sure that you are validating it properly, right? So this is one way of managing session. And other way is again, let me go back here. I mean, you can store that value and you can use it from you can get that, when you are writing, I write response.add cookie. See, I write response.add cookie. When I'm reading, request.get cookies, and that gives me an array of cookies, right? So that's one way. I'll leave it, the this particular thing using cookies. Okay. Okay. And Session can be tracked using. So how I will do that is request dot get session. See here, get session dot set attribute, set attribute. So suppose username and the value will be username. And when I set this particular value, what happens is this value will not be stored at all in the cookies. So what I need to do now is kill the application because of the bug that we found. Kill the application. See, I'm actually like, though these concepts are looking simple, they are very, very important concepts. Believe me, my first job, I got it because I was explaining these guys in the interview panel in my college, in the campus interview, about how the sessions and cookies work. And by the time Yahoo site, way back in 2003, no, I think the interview was in 2002. And I explained that, that the guy who came to my college that, if you disable cookies in the browser, there is a way you can disable. I said Yahoo will not work. I gave the reason why. I was just learning, ASP.NET that time, not .NET such as ASP, because .NET was not out, I think, by the time, or maybe I was not aware of it. ASP, I was doing pretty much with the ASP. So there is some option called, somewhere it should be there. It was in the IE, but security, exceptions, general, tabs, not the kind tabs. Applications. I think somewhere there's some option called disable cookies. Disable cookies. Maybe in the security. I think not this, but general. So there is somewhere you can actually disable cookies in the Firefox. Maybe I'll do that in the Google. I have got 5 more minutes. Excellent. See, this guy is, the context help and all. I really like this. The Google people are trying to do. But one side effect of the Google actually is that they recently changed their licensing terms. That whatever you browse and your activities on internet, they will reflect in next time when you are searching something. So if I search only on the internet related or Java related, I mean if I've been working with the Java related stuff, so they will primarily show next time Java results only. Okay. Use custom settings from the history. And then this guy says there is some privacy. Okay. Okay. User custom settings. And what is the next screen he did was in the privacy. In the privacy and accept cookies size to enable. Yeah. See here, you can pretty much say that you disable this, or you say that ask me every time, or you can pretty much, if you disable this, let me see what really happens. Okay, I disable this, and let me log in. Let me log in. I mean, such as there is no greatness with cookies we being working with. Why this always ask me this? And see here, and what is happening? Home servlet dot do post root cause null pointer. Home servlet dot do post 42. Home servlet dot do post 42. And why? Mhm. The side effect of two post home servlet. The dispatcher is becoming null, probably. And why it is becoming? Maybe I should be doing in the same way as the way we are storing here. Actually, it should not become null. That's interesting thing. See the side effects of this. If I enable the browser, I think I can pretty much try that now. Now options and accept cookies from third-party websites. Now let me refresh this. Now it works. See here. That's an interesting thing. The site did not work when I disable cookies. So that's an interesting thing. Some of the websites which only depend on cookies may fail if the browser is disabling and the user has the choice, anytime. And yeah, I did discuss about this, other unrelated thing, but when you're trying something on the internet, especially the Google is, if you logged into Google and it remembers what you are trying to do in the internet. If I see, so you should be careful when you are browsing something only alone and you think no one is looking at me, and next time you are in a group and you try to search something, Google may show you some unwanted results. So maybe that, that's I mean that's the side effect of it. And there was one guy, recently I was reading a blog of one Google employee who joined Microsoft, and he was actually cribbing about Google. Like Google was a technology company before, but now Google is mostly it is an advertisement company. So they're trying to run, more of advertisements, and whatever they're trying to do is just, their only focus now is to beat the Facebook, because Facebook has more information about the users than Google has, and Facebook is successful in terms of capturing user attention and showing more advertisements. So, but that's an off topic, and I'll not go into I'll not go into deep that. So you understood the cookies, right? And I'll just introduce you another thing called session. And I think, where is it? Uh, yeah, it's here. So I'm setting. You can pretty much, there is something called request.get session. That I can do that. HTTP session. I can create an object called session equal to get, sorry, request.get session. Okay, and I say session.set enter username. Okay, now I can say that, this is one thing. I'm setting a value there, and I'll say I'll write, JSP is nothing but a HTML file, and where I write my Java code in, I put, less than percentile, and wherever I feel like writing Java code, I write this. Okay, nothing more than that. But I'll actually discuss that. Append. Out is, you don't need to explicitly get that, response.get writer kind of stuff. Here there is a default object called out is always available, and the event session get attribute session.get attribute username. I say your user name from is, and please stop me if you find that I'm going too deep into the topic and you find it difficult to understand me, and I request you to stop me there. I can pretty much stop and only focus the scope of the discussion, because this gets interesting for me, and I want you guys to learn. When you're learning first time, you learn everything, the required fundamentals. Maybe the everything is related to me. I mean, whatever I want to flash information to you, I want you to catch that. Okay, so again I don't like this particular thing because of the other error. I'm on actually like I'm on from laptop. I'm not using different headset, so you may hear some other noises. So you have to excuse me for that. Cookie name. Okay, I logged in, right? Now what I'll try to do is show cookies. Yeah. So cookie name. No. Yeah. See here, username. Your username from session is Hari. I can anywhere I can use this particular anywhere. In any servlet or JSP, I can access the session. And if you look at, the session variables are displayed here, right? Session variables are displayed here, but the username, the cookies are different and session variables are different. Okay, and maybe now I should rename. I should show and session and put a horizontal line session data. Okay, so that show cookies and session. I need to rename that particular thing and session because I think I gave. Yeah. So okay, okay. Why? Why? Because that's interesting for me. How come the session got okay? Server got restarted, I guess. Yeah. I think server got restarted when I changed the JSP name. So the session got expired. Now let me retry this. Test one. No, this is fine. This is because here I'm showing show cookies and session. Yeah, see here the session data is there. And suppose if I log out, I'll explain the logout as well. One moment. The home in the home or actually like we'll continue the discussion tomorrow. But just a recap of what we did so far is we try to one sec, do I have the home.jsp? Yes, home.jsp is pretty much there. So what I try to explain is that the cookies and the session objects. Now we will also see session timeout as well. That's pretty much there's something called session.invalidate. You can get the session object, invalidate or remove attributes and do invalidate. I will continue this discussion tomorrow, and also indirectly I try to introduce a little bit of JSP as well. JSP is nothing but Java code plus HTML, and here when I need to write Java code, I say that less than percentile, put the logic, and again percentile greater than. Okay, this particular thing you can write any Java code anywhere in the JSP, and your for loop everything works pretty much fine. Okay, see here also I try to do something. So we will continue tomorrow. You have any specific questions on this? Any specific feedback for me that how the session is going? Where is my screen? Yeah, guys, can you please speak? I see Manasmita, Jimmy, Nilima, Prafulla.
Yes. Okay.
This is fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Nilima?
Yeah, it's good.
Right. And Manasmita?
Yeah, it's good. It's fine for me.
Okay, so I request you to kindly please redo the stuff, and I sent you one link in the email yesterday. Please go through that. I mean, basically, I'm reusing. The core serverless.com is by another very big guy who does a lot of trainings, and you can pretty much just follow that, and you ask me questions, whatever you feel like you did not understand from there. Basically here I'm trying to train you from a context. Like, let's take a small application and try to and try to implement the solution and learn the technology, right? So I'll commit these changes, and that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.